Hi everyone, welcome to another video from Suffolk. So I don't have my normal overhead filming set up. I'm not in my studio, obviously. I'm staying here with my mum for a couple of weeks, but I wanted to share my art supplies travel kit. And I'm going to be filming this just holding the camera. So I only have one hand free to show stuff to you. I'm going to try and keep the camera as steady as possible so that you don't feel seasick. And yeah, let's just have a look at what I brought with me, because I've managed to narrow my kit down quite a bit just lately. Okay, so let's start with the Art Toolkit Folio palette. So this one is a very thin, and close that, you'll see just how thin, very thin little travel palette. So this is my larger one, and in this I have gouache paints. So I basically took my tubes of gouache, and in this palette I have all of the earth colours, greys, neutrals, and this colour here is Payne's Grey. I use Payne's Grey a lot. It's sometimes really useful to have that kind of in place of black if you don't want to be using black. If you have a particularly dark Payne's Grey, it's quite good for that. But yeah, I'm loving working with these colours. Obviously the gouache does crack a little bit when you put it in the pans and it dries out, but I haven't had too much of a problem with it falling out of the palette, because sometimes it can get so dry it kind of falls out. But no, this is pretty good, and certain brands don't even seem to crack very much at all. But I'm afraid I can't tell you exactly what the colours are, because all of my information about that is back in Surrey, but yeah, in my studio there. But I just thought it'd be nice to share how I've set these palettes up. So this one is called the Pocket Palette. So it's quite a bit smaller than the Folio palette. Same Art Toolkit palette, looks exactly the same, but they're so lightweight, and I got these a few months ago. I'm absolutely loving using them. I find them so useful to just pack in my bag and carry with me. They're incredibly light, and you can get enough paint in there, even though these little pans that you put in there are very, very thin. You can get quite a lot of paint in there, and it does tend to last me quite a while. What was the other thing I wanted to mention about these? Oh, the fact that they're customizable. So you buy the pans separately, or you can do. This is what I did. I bought the palettes and then I bought the pans separately. So you can get different sizes of pans. Get these large ones here, these kind of standard sizes, and the really tiny ones. You can also get some larger ones too. And you can just kind of configure them exactly how you want. By the way, if you can hear that, I think it's a tractor about to go past outside the house. You're going to hear all sorts of noises in this video, because I have no control over anything. So shall we wait for the tractor to pass? Don't know whether you can hear that. Okay, so two Art Toolkit palettes, the Folio, the Pocket palette. Both of these work really well together. Obviously that one I have all my greens and blues in, and the other one, as I said, all the earths, greys, neutrals. So yeah, we have those. Great little travel painting kit. The sketchbooks I brought with me this time, well, this is the first one. This is a Pith, I think they're called, this size is called the Kabosu or something like that. I'll try and find out, and I will write it down in the description below. But just a really nice little sketchbook, quite small, easy to pop into your bag, really nice paper, kind of off-white paper. So the second sketchbook I have here with me this time is the Clairefontaine Gold Line Travel Album, and this one is the 15 by 15 centimetre version. I also have a 20 by 20 centimetre version, which I love working in. It's one of my favourite sketchbooks, but this was just a bit smaller for travel, and I used this the other day when I was drawing in my mum's garden. So I've only done a couple of drawings in this, or paintings rather. So That's how that looks. It has nice rounded edges. The paper is whiter than this one. This one is, as you can see, kind of off-white, creamy colour. But yeah, this has really nice white paper. It takes all sorts, in fact, both of these will take all sorts of media. So I've used gouache, watercolour, lots of different dry media. You can use all sorts in both of these sketchbooks. So that's why I love them so much. And the paper in this one is really quite thick, which is also really nice. So they are my two sketchbooks. And this one also has like a little elastic closure thingy and a bit for your pen in the top there. Do you see that little loop? I never use that, but it's quite a nice little addition, I guess. The other paper I brought with me, now you're going to see something here. Let's just take these out of the way. This is a work in progress at the moment. So this is actually something I'm working on with my deep light watercolours. So I'm not including those in my travel kit because they're not part of the travel kit. I had to bring them separately so that I could work on some paintings because there's something exciting coming regarding deep light, which you'll find out about soon. But yeah, this one is in progress at the moment. This is a twilight landscape and I'm doing this on, if I can just lift that up, Archer's watercolour paper. This is a block, so it means that it's glued all the way around, which keeps the paper really flat and stops it from buckling when you're working on it, which is really handy. I'm beginning to really love the blocks. I didn't used to like them, but now I love them. Yeah, so this is the cold pressed £140 or 300 GSM 20 sheets block of Archers. So it has a really nice, if I can hold that up so you can see, a really nice texture, which I love working on. When I'm working in watercolour, I really like a textured paper. I've been actually working on hot pressed smoother paper recently as well, and I like it, but I think I'll always love cold pressed paper. So that's the little pad of paper I brought with me. Let's just pop that over there. Right, the other paper I brought with me, because I wanted to work on some small ink drawings, I brought the Stonehenge white mini pad. I get these from Jackson's and I get through quite a lot of these. I absolutely love them. If you want to just test the different Stonehenge papers before you invest in a larger pad, or you want to just use them for miniatures like I have, this is great paper. I love this particular one for coloured pencils and also ink pen. I don't tend to use it for watercolour, so I can't comment on it for that. But these are great little travel pads if you want to be making some drawings that you can kind of take out and keep them separate, and you don't want them in a sketchbook. Maybe you want to sell them, which is what I'll be doing with these ones. This is a great travel option. So these little, let me see if I can get really nice and close and focus in on those. These little miniatures are so cute, and I'll show you the pens that I'm using to make these in a moment. But yeah, I've been working on some little ink drawings. There's another one over there that is in progress. I only just started that one. But yeah, loving that paper. It's a really nice, I would say it's quite a bright white paper. They also do a warm white version, but I'm really liking this one at the moment. Okay, what else have I got to show you? This is a separate tube of gouache that I brought with me. It's the Holbein Artist Gouache in black. Just really useful when I'm working and if I need a black. I tend to carry around a tube of black and white gouache. I do actually have some white that I leave here in Suffolk, and it's the Winsor & Newton Designers. I think it's the permanent white, the one I really like. But I brought that one with me. I also have a big clip here, big metal bulldog clip. That helps to, when I'm working outside, I used it the other day to keep the pages clipped open on my sketchbook so that they don't keep blowing up in the wind. I wished I'd have brought 2 of these. I actually own 3 of them, but I just brought one with me, but they're really useful to have when you're working outside on location and it's very windy and you just want to clip the pages open so they don't keep closing and like transferring your wet paint onto the next page. So yeah, that came in really handy the other day. The brushes I have here, let's just get those. Sorry, I'm moving around a bit too much, aren't I? Actually, I'm going to just move these out of the way and then we'll come back to the brushes. So the brushes are, and I'm trying to use just 3 brushes while I'm here this time, my old favourite, the Betty Hayways No.7 watercolour brush. Now, when you see me working and you're asking me which brush are you using, it's more often than not this one. You can't get them from Jackson's, well certainly not at the time of filming this video. I get mine from the Chelsea Paper Company, I think they're called. I always want to say Chelsea Art Company. I think it's Chelsea Paper Company. So that's where you can get those. And I have 2 Arte Prolene brushes. These are quite small ones. This one is a number 2 round and this one is a 3-0 round for tiny details. So I just have those 3 brushes. The pens I've got, now this, I'm going to just swap hands, I think. This is my pen of choice when I'm working on these little ink drawings. And they are the Pigma Micron. Oh, well, that one's an 02. I have them in loads of different sizes. So that one's a really fine one, 005. Yeah, you can see I have like 7 different sizes there. I would say the ones I use most of all, if I had to narrow this kit down even further, the ones I use most of all are the 01, the 02 and the 05, I think it is. So the 05 is a bit thicker, but most of the time I'm using just a 01 and a 02 for those. This is my little collapsible water pot. It's made of a kind of like rubbery silicone stuff. I think it was from Faber-Castell. Again, I'll try and find that and add it to the description in the video, or underneath the video rather. But it kind of collapses down when it hasn't got water in it. I can't do it at the moment, obviously, but yeah, collapses down and is a great little travel water pot because obviously it can't get broken and it doesn't take up much room when it's in its collapsed state. And then I have my, let's just roll this up properly, and that will go around there like that. Ooh, like that. Gosh, it's hard filming and doing this with one hand. This is the Peg and All Sendak Artist Roll. I got mine from Jackson's, and this has become an essential part of my travel kit because it's so useful. You can store quite a few pencils and different things in here. Now you can fit 2 pencils. If you squeeze them in, you can fit 2 pencils in each one of these sections. It also has sections behind there. This is very hard with one hand. I did bring water brushes with me. These are really good if you're really going out on location. Just fill them with water, and it's quite a useful way to take some water with you if you can't take like a separate bottle of water or something in your separate water pot. You can use these. So I've got a couple of those in there. They're the Derwent ones. I've got a couple of my favourite pencils. Now I'm always asked about these as well. Let's bring these over here. Right, these are Blackwing. I have a Blackwing 55 and a Blackwing 602, half the pressure, twice the speed. So often when I'm using pencils to label things, like I'm labelling swatches, I get asked a lot. I mean, it surprises me how many people have asked me about these pencils. So that's the one I tend to use. These are the ones that I've started using, and I also really like those. So both of them, excellent pencils. I have in here a little ruler. It's quite unusual, this one, because it goes up to 17 centimetres, and usually rulers are like 15 or 30 centimetres, but this one's 17. I like the fact that it's wooden. I love a traditional ruler. I'm a traditional ruler kind of person. And this tiny Tombow Mono Zero eraser. So I'm going to just pump that out so you can see how tiny that little eraser is. Now this is fantastic if you just want to erase tiny sections of a drawing and you don't want to have a big eraser that kind of rubs out bits that you would rather keep. So I like to carry this around with me. This is a fantastic little piece of kit. The pencils I have now, I've really narrowed this down this time, and you can see, I've just noticed, can you see that little hand there? This is not a ghostly hand. This is the hand of my doll, Amanda, who I had like when I was obviously a little girl, and she lives up in this room now. I'm in the middle bedroom of my mum's house, and her little hand, I just realised it was coming in, and some of you are going to be like, what is that hand? And that's who it is, it's Amanda. But yeah, I narrowed down my pencils to 3 different types of Payne's Grey. So these are the Caran d'Ache Luminance, Payne's Grey, Payne's Grey 60% and Payne's Grey 30%. They're just such a really useful, if you only want to sketch with like a few pencils, these ones are fantastic because you have the range of tone. I wonder whether I can just quickly show you, actually. Maybe I'll do that in a moment. But yeah, you have the range of tone. I haven't used them much, actually. I thought I was going to use them more, but I just wanted some pencils that could perhaps go over the top of the gouache. I didn't really want to do like a lot of mixed media work, as in, you know, that's why I haven't brought things like Neo colours and other pens like my watercolour markers or my Pitt pens. So I just stuck with these because I thought if I want to do some drawing, I have the range of tone, and that's quite useful. I have a little paintbrush in here, which is one of those ones that, oh gosh, it's so, I keep saying this, but it's so hard doing this with one hand. You put that end on there. I can't do that with one hand. But yeah, it's like a little travel paintbrush, so it goes back in its little case. I have my favourite white pencil, the Derwent Drawing Chinese White. Love that, really super opaque white pencil. And I have 2, these are the same Derwent Inktense. If you buy one Derwent Inktense, I would recommend the bark. This is such a useful, gorgeous colour. It goes over the top of watercolour and gouache really well. You can basically use it dry like a coloured pencil, but you can also use it wet. So you can add water to it and you'll have a wash of like ink-like colour, which actually dries waterproof, and then you can draw back over the top, which if the ink part is still wet, if you're, you know what I'm trying to say, it gives a really nice line. Or you can wait for it to dry and then you can go over the top with that and you'll get a slightly more textured kind of line. But I'm loving the bark colour. It's so useful. It's lovely on its own, really useful over the top of watercolour. And in this little section here, if I can get this open with one hand, we have some more erasers. My favourite magic eraser, this Milan eraser. Oh yes, I love this one too recently. The Caran d'Ache triangular eraser, and a double hole brass sharpener. I think I also have my little bullet sharpener in the back, but it's going to be too hard for me to fiddle around. But this is a great little case. You can fit so much more in it than I have here. It has extra pockets on the back there too. Right, I'll just quickly show you how these pencils look, and then I think we'll end this video. So here's my pared down pencil kit. That's the Blackwing 602, that's Blackwing 55. So you can see the 55 is slightly darker, it's a slightly softer pencil. And over here we have the Inktense bark, but yeah, it gives a really nice effect when you use water with it. It's a super textured pencil without the water, and then you can draw over the top. I drew over the top while it was still wet, just so you could see the quality of the line and how that looks. And then I have my 3 Payne's Grey pencils, which are looking so much darker on camera than they actually are in reality. But there's my pared down kit. I haven't obviously swatched the white pencil, but it's really good for going over the top. The Derwent Drawing Chinese White. But yeah, so pared down pencils just combined with the gouache and some of the Pigma Micron markers. No, not markers, fineliners. Let's get this right. Pigma Micron archival ink pens. So yeah, that's my pared down travel kit. So apologies for this video being so super low tech, but hopefully that's been at least a little bit interesting or informative for you. If it has, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you back in the studio in Surrey sometime soon. Okay everyone, take care and bye for now.